Well, folks, welcome back to another video right here on Jason's Wrestling Channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Roddy Piper. Now, Roddy Piper was one of the biggest loudmouths in professional wrestling. And he was a good heel. He had a show called Piper's Pit. It's where he would bring people on. And one of the things I remember about Piper's Pit, he had Jimmy Superfly Snuka as his guest. And he had coconuts because he was from the Fiji Islands. And Roddy Piper was like making fun of him, cracking jokes about him. Finally, Jimmy Superfly Snuka goes, "Are you making fun of me?" And Piper goes, "Am I making fun of you?" He's like, he was, of course not, you know. And he like turned his head, and he was like laughing, and he took the coconut and he broke it over Jimmy Superfly Snuka's head on Piper's Pit. So then him and Jimmy Superfly Snuka feuded, but I don't think they ever had a match. I don't remember the match ever happening. And then he wrestled Hulk Hogan. He had a feud with Hulk Hogan. Now, Piper never lost a match to Hulk Hogan. He refused to lose because he thought that Hogan was given everything by Vince McMahon. And he said he's not going to lay down for him. He's not going to let him pin him. So Hogan always lost to Roddy Piper. Finally, around WrestleMania 3, Roddy Piper had a farewell match against Adrian Adonis. And the loser would have their head shaved. So Piper ended up winning the match at WrestleMania 3 because it was supposed to be his farewell match. All he did was he went off and filmed movies. But then he would come back to the WWF around WrestleMania 5 in a Piper's Pit show. And he had Brother Love and Morton Downey Jr. as his guests. He totally made a fool of Brother Love, which was kind of funny. And then he had a fire extinguisher and he blew it on Morton Downey Jr. because Morton Downey Jr. kept blowing smoke in his face. He was smoking cigarettes. He kept saying, "Don't blow no more smoke in my face." When he took the fire extinguisher and he sprayed Morton Downey Jr. with the fire extinguisher. And Piper became a commentator sitting at the announce booth for a while. He did a little bit of that. And then at the Royal Rumble one year, he won the Intercontinental Championship against the Mountie because Bret the Hitman Hart was supposed to wrestle the Mountie, but the Mountie, Bret Hart had a really bad temperature. He was sick. So they put Piper in against the Mountie, and Piper won the Intercontinental Championship. And then he lost the Intercontinental Championship. And then he just stayed an announcer for a while. And then 1993, King of the Ring. He had a feud with Jerry the King Lawler. And Jerry the King Lawler was going around making fun of people, sick kids in the hospital. Piper didn't like it. And they had this skinny guy come and pretend to be Roddy Piper. making fun of Piper. And then the King of the Ring came, and Jerry Lawler actually wrestled against Roddy Piper. Piper ended up beating Jerry the King Lawler in the match. And then after that, Piper just split from the wrestling scene for a while. And then in 1996, Roddy Piper would come to WCW. And he'd be feuding with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the ultimate bad guy for the NWO, that was causing a bunch of trouble for WCW. So he came onto the scene and confronted Hogan and told Hogan that he was ashamed of what he had become. So him and Hogan wrestled at World War III that year in December. And Piper ended up beating Hogan again. And then the feud went on to Super Brawl. Now, Ric Flair wanted Piper to join the Horsemen. It was the Horsemen against the NWO. And so Piper joined the Horsemen for one night. And the NWO ended up beating Piper and the Horsemen. And then they had a match at Halloween Havoc. Hogan and Piper had a cage match at Halloween Havoc. Once again, Piper ended up beating Hogan. Hogan did not beat Piper. And Piper he kept beating Hogan. Hogan couldn't beat him. And then Piper eventually just split from the wrestling scene. And then eventually WCW ended up going out of business. And then Piper was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And then he just faded away after it. He wasn't really in the business too much. And then he eventually just passed, like a few years ago, he passed away, sadly. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like karaoke, subscribe to Flash Gordon Karaoke Channel 5000. And have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.